This is Thursday today, so today is Top Tips Thursday, and this is the day that I answer all your questions. So if you do have any questions about anything at all, please send them to me at helen@helenmitas.com, and I would love to answer them for you. So how is the year going for you guys? How's the start of the new year? I'm actually in a really good space this year. I specifically did not go away for the holidays. Hey everybody, tell me that you're here by putting a comment and where you're from. I specifically did not go away, apart from some small weekends away. I didn't go away for a long period of time because I really wanted to ground myself in my location. So we have gone away a couple of weekends, and I really enjoy those, going away just for small weekends away as opposed to big trips, which end up being, quite a bit of a hassle in terms of packing, unpacking, and so on. And so that's the way that I'm doing it at the moment, and huge things I've got in line for this year, and I'm really strategically planning everything and getting everybody on board to do their bit. So it's quite a good, interesting time for our profession and all our businesses and consciousness around the world, and there is so much to do. And this is the time. This is the time to move forward and to really live our dreams the way that we want to live them on our terms. So today I'm going to answer a question from beautiful Julia. So once again, tell me if you're on, because I would love to see you and to know that you are here. So Julia is from New Zealand, and she attended my retreat a little while back in the Gold Coast, and she's got a question for me. And the question is about a client, a brand new client that has come to her. Now this particular client is 143 kilos. That's a lot of weight. 143 kilos. And this particular client is very closed into her emotions. Hey Sally, good to see you. Yes, it is an incredible time for our profession, and we have to really make the most of it and really understand that this is the time that we have to get our act together and present ourselves as the credible profession that we are, so that we are mainstream as opposed to alternative, because it's just a matter of time before we are mainstream. I am certain of it. So let's get back to this question that was given to me by Julia. She says, hi Helen, I have a client who has come to me to lose weight. She's 143 kilos. I did the first session with her and she just seems very closed to her emotions. She's closed, not close, very closed to her emotions. She couldn't see a higher level problem other than her relationship with food. She can't remember how she felt when she had a stillbirth, and seems reluctant to see a link between any emotions and her weight. She's always been big and says it's not an issue, but she's here wanting to lose weight because nothing else has worked. She says she doesn't binge eat, but she loves chocolate and she could go without it for a couple of weeks. My gut feeling is that there are emotional issues, but she's not willing to look at them. So Julia's question is, does she go ahead and start the program? And the program that she's referring to is my HypnoFit training program, and see if the subconscious will let go of the emotions, then deal with the practical food issues. I can't imagine someone can go to that weight if there isn't an emotional component. Have you had experience with this type of client? So first of all, absolutely yes, I have had experience with this type of client. This type of client is quite a difficult client. So the clients that are in denial are, I would say, the most difficult clients, because those clients that come to you and they're 150 kilos and they say, oh, I had a massive binge and this is what I've done and this is how I behave, they've already accepted their behaviors and their actions, and they're already taking responsibility, and so it's far easier to deal with them. Who here has had that client who comes in and says, oh, I don't know why I'm this weight because I eat really healthily, and then you ask them to tell you what they've eaten and it's a perfect food diet. And so I say to them, so this is a perfect day. There is something going on here other than what you're putting down here in writing. Excuse me while I cough. Goodness. So those clients that don't say the truth are the most difficult clients because they're in denial. And, you know, she says that she doesn't binge eat, but at 143 kilos, I am thinking that is not true, that she's just not telling the full story, that there's a lot of disconnection between her and her emotions, and there's a lot of shame there. And that's why she's not able to front up to what she's actually doing. So unless she's 8 foot tall, which I doubt, carrying 143 kilos as a woman is morbidly obese, and there's no judgment on that. There is absolutely no judgment. But when I say is morbidly obese, is carrying way more weight than is healthy for her, which means that there would be binge eating. And by binge eating, it just means an out of control type of eating. And when she was asked the question about, you know, how did she feel about her stillborn, which is quite a traumatic event for anybody, she said she had no emotion. So she has disconnected herself from her emotions so that she can get through it. That's what she's done. She hasn't consciously done that, but she has definitely disconnected herself from her emotions. And so what she needs to do is she needs to reconnect herself with those emotions so that we can deal with them. So that's our job as hypnotherapists. So what we need to do here, Julia, is first of all, is go with the program. Definitely do the program. Don't just do an eating program for this particular lady. She needs to unravel those emotions that are there for her. And I would bet that there's a lot of shame, there's a lot of sadness, and a number of other emotions that we need to deal with this particular client. So how do we do that when a client is in denial about having those emotions? They feel like they're disconnected and that there are no emotions. So when we're talking to them consciously, first of all, and we haven't put them into trance, if they say, oh no, there's no emotion with that, I'm fine, what I get them to do is simply ask them to close their eyes. And the moment they close their eyes, they connect to the emotions. So even if when I'm not at the point in time where I've put them into trance, but I'm just talking to them, I would say to them, okay, so let's just close your eyes and see. And so they close their eyes. So now, how do you feel about that when that comes to mind? When you feel that event, see that event, what's the emotion that comes up for you? And they're usually able to tell you what that emotion is. So what you need to do, because you've already gone through the questions in that first session anyway, is go through the program. And with her, I would actually put her in quite a deep trance, because she needs to be that relaxed so she can just let go. And the words that I would use in the induction would be words that would help her to let go of the requirement of hanging on, because she's hanging on for dear life to the story that she has told herself all these years. Hey Andrew, good to see you, Happy New Year. So she's hanging on for dear life to the story that she has told herself all these years. So we need to get her to let go, to trust the process, that she is safe here, and that there is no judgment, and that this is a judgment-free zone. So using all those words, all that terminology, and when you put her down into trance, just say to her, you know, I love these words, which is, you know, don't help me, but don't fight me. So just let go, just let go, just let it go. And she needs to let go so she can get in touch with her emotions. I will bet that at this point in time, she is frightened about feeling those emotions because they're too raw. So continue with the program, trust, and you know that it works, and, you know, put her in a deep enough trance so that she does let go. And if she's insisting that there are no emotions connected to her eating behavior, so that's fine, no problem. If there's no emotions, we're going to get through this part of the program really quickly. So don't go up against her vision of the world as it stands today, but simply with using your language, take her towards the place that she needs to go to, which is to let go and to be okay about whatever emotions come up for her, because she's okay and she's safe. And then continue to work through the emotions, because you need to. Women or men who carry that much weight, there's something else going on underneath that needs to be dealt with, because she has blocked her emotions with food. She has basically comatosed her emotions with food. So we need to get to the reason as to why that's happened. And perfect example is her saying that she didn't feel anything when she had a stillborn, which is traumatic. It's a traumatic event. And of course, there was an emotion there which she has shut out. So yes, definitely go with that. Yes, I have had many clients like that. They're not the easiest to deal with, because they're in denial and they're not upfront with themselves or with you as to what is going on. They say that they're eating perfectly and they're carrying all this weight. That's obviously not true, because they would not be carrying so much weight if they were eating the way they said they would be eating. So we need to have tough love with them, and that's the way that respectfully open up the questions that they need to answer honestly and truthfully to get to where they need to go to, because underneath those layers is a lot of pain. And so go forth, do the program, and you will see that quite a lot will come out for you. If any of you have got any questions for me at all to answer, this is the day that I do it, on Thursday. I usually do it a lot earlier, but I was caught up with other things today. And so if you have any questions about anything at all, whether it's business, the business of hypnosis, whether it's therapy, whether it's anything, send an email to helen@helenmitas.com and I would be happy to answer it. Now, these Q&As that I do every Thursday, they get put into an email and they get emailed to my therapist list, so that you will never miss it if you send me an email. So if you send me an email saying, please add me to your therapist list, you will never miss this live Q&A, which answers so many questions. So Sally's got a comment here. Let me see what it says. What would you do with a client who knows there are emotions that need to be addressed but isn't prepared to visit that, but wants to stop emotional eating? What I would do, Sally, that's a great question, is we need to make sure that we are in charge of the session, because we are the therapist and we're the expert. Hey Julia, you've just come on board, which is fantastic. I've already answered your question, so when this live finishes, just go ahead and press play and you'll hear my answers. But yes, what a brilliant question, Sally. So there are so many clients that come and see us and they don't want to deal with the emotional part of it. They only want to deal with the weight loss. Well, guess what? If we know that there are emotions going on, we need to deal with that part first, no matter what. I have got a brilliant webinar addressing this specific issue and exactly what I do step by step in the consultation room. So Sally, if you're interested in that webinar, just send me an email to helen@helenmitas.com and I'll give you a complimentary webinar to watch, which tells you exactly how I address that issue. The main thing to remember is that you are doing no one any favors by letting the client control the session. You need to control the session with your methodology. So you know what works, and you know that if a client is emotionally eating, we need to address the emotional eating issues. And that's not going to be addressed just with direct suggestion about the symptoms. We need to get to the cause. Because what you don't want is unsuccessful clients. What you want is successful clients. You want clients who will be your word of mouth advocate. They're your walking, talking advertisement. That's only going to happen if you do things your way, not their way. So every time a hypnotherapist tells me that they're doing something in their consulting room because that's what the client wanted, I, brace myself, because that's not the way that it should be done. It's like, going to a podiatrist and you telling the podiatrist as to how they're going to treat your issue. We just don't do it. So we need to make sure that we're in charge. we explain to the client as to why it needs to be done a certain way, and we explain to the client that this is the way that they're going to have long-term results. Because sure, any hypnotherapist can help a client lose weight in the short term if they can hypnotize. But that's not what our work is about. Our work is about, in any circumstances in the future that they find themselves in, they have the resources and the internal ability to reframe events so that they do not resort to their old habits of overeating or drinking or whatever. So thank you very much. You're most welcome, Sally. Mwah. And anybody else want anything answered, just let me know. I'm about to start my half-day workshops in Auckland only in a few weeks' time. And then subsequent to that, Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane. So half-day workshops, you're going to get a stack of value. I'm going to be doing a live demonstration in the room. I only hold these half-day workshops twice a year these days. So if you want to know about it, get yourself in. It's only $49 for a ticket. You get a book, you get live demonstration, and you find out exactly how to handle these situations which I've just talked to you about, which is absolutely critical to your business success. Andrew says Bali or Perth. No, but I do have webinars, Andrew, for both Bali and Perth, but no, I'm not doing any live events there. I'm maintaining my energy. So if you need any of that, just let me know. On the pinned post above in this group, it talks about all my events. So have a brilliant day. This is the year, guys, 2020. No more excuses, because if nothing changes, guess what? Nothing changes, and there is absolutely no excuse for you to have a successful, thriving hypnotherapy clinic in the year 2020. Okay, see you later. Bye.